Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to the Ready, Set, Go preview show. This is a very special show. I think this is our 50th, 50th show. We've been doing it for 50 weeks. Let's go that route. And I want to, I think it's a very special show. I want to give a shout out to Lee Atkins. Lee is a subscriber of the channel who basically monitors a lot of the giveaways that I do here on the channel. He tabulates, the giveaways and the FMVs and how many people actually sign up and enter the giveaway that we do every single week here, sponsored by Go Collect. And I put up a reminder the other day that the show was going to be taking place today on Saturday instead of its normal day on Sunday. And Lee sent me a message and he said, Reggie, it's actually the 50th show. And he's like, yeah, you had like 221s or something like that. And so very appreciative to Lee for helping me to correct that error, helping me to acknowledge that this is indeed the 50th show that we've actually done. And so huge shout out to that guy for being an awesome member of the comic book community and certainly an awesome member and subscriber to the channel. So there are a couple of announcements that I want to get to, and then there's some cool stuff that I want to show you guys. And then we're also going to give away a really cool book. And so if this is your first time ever seeing this show, we do this show on a regular basis, as you can tell from the 5-0 that I just butchered. We do it every single week, typically on Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. But when life gets in the way, we move it to a different day. And we've had to make that adjustment a couple of times over the last several months that we've been doing the show. So there was a robust conversation here. I love how people actually come into the chat 30 minutes early and just kind of hang out as a community. So I want to say hello to some of those comic book soldiers that have been hanging out. Jeffrey is here. Tina's here. Squirrel Madness is in the house. It is good to see you guys as always. High Voltage Mark is in the room. Scrolling down through the lengthy conversation that you guys were having. Master Blaster is in the house. Super dope, super A-OK from this guy right here the other day. If you missed that video, you definitely want to go back and check that one out. Scrolling through the names, Quest Dog is in the house. I saw Johnny Future in here. Randy Resnake is in here. Johnny Future is in here. Chris, my man, how you doing, brother? It is always good to see you. And I think someone also just dropped a super chat. So Squirrel Madness, my brother from Canada, says happy anniversary. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate the super chat. Always appreciate your support. So thank you very much. Sith Lord is in the house. How you doing, brother? So sometimes people put up comments, people put up super chats, and I sometimes miss them. But when I do see them, I want to acknowledge them. But yeah, definitely a really cool show. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I gave a little bit of thought to what I wanted to do for the show, and then I chucked it because I actually made some magic happen. I made magic happen, and I chucked the plan for the show. So we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do something different. Speedy Comic Book Showcase. He says, awesome channel, refreshing. Thank you, brother, for the super chat. I definitely appreciate that. A lot of people have been leaving those types of refreshing comments and things like that. And I definitely appreciate it. The goal is to offer you all something that is a little bit different from what other people are offering, you know? And so I try to be unique. I try to be different. I try to be, and for some people, a positive show, you know? And so I think that people kind of appreciate that. So what is this? RSG 50. Matthew, how you doing, brother? So I made some magic happen. And I actually kind of sort of made the magic happen more than a week ago when I was at the Berkeley Comic-Con and I was having this conversation with James, who goes by by a very interesting name, King Golden State. I was having a really good conversation with him about some things, and he hipped me to a couple of things, and I decided to take some action. I decided to take some action on a comic that was actually at that con. I was not yet ready to buy that particular book, but I was immediately able to have a conversation with the owner of that book in that comic shop. and was able to put that book on reserve and made some magic happen and went and actually picked that book up today. And so it is now official. It is now official that I have completed the full run of Amazing Spider-Man. Every single Amazing Spider-Man comic that is out, has been printed, not except the variants and some of the beat covers and that kind of stuff. I have every single comic out there, and it is official with this little gem right here. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 3. This was the very last book that I was missing from that run, and it is finally mine. So huge shout out to Cape and Cow Comics in Oakland, California. I had a conversation with the owner of the shop via direct message on Instagram, because that's my preferred method of communication. It's like, bro, this is the last book that I need for my run. Can you hold this book? I need like a week, and he held it for me. I was able to actually get there today. We made some magic happen. And now it is official. I own all of the books, right? So Amazing Spider-Man number 3, this is the origin and first appearance of Doc Ock. There's also a Human Torch appearance in this book. And so what I will tell you about this, part of what gave me the little kick in the pants that I needed, it was always on the plan. I was always going to do it. There was no doubt about that. It was just when, right? And I was talking to James, and James was like, that Morbius trailer that came out supposedly has Doc Ock in it. Because there's I think there's Vulture in there, and I think Doc Ock is supposed to be in there. And he's like, if that actually does happen, it could get out of control. And I had already felt, to be honest with you, that the prices were a little out of control for that particular book, between the FMV of that book and the asking prices that people were asking. And so I was hesitant to buy the book because of that. And then I spotted this gem, and I spotted the price, and I pulled up my pricing guide, Go Collect, and looked at the price, and it was below FMV. And I was originally going to be getting a lower grade based upon what people were charging, but this book was a gorgeous book. It was a fair book for the price, and so I had to make magic happen. So give a huge shout out to my man Johnny Future. He says, congrats on your amazing, spectacular journey, getting your ASM run finished. You are the man. I don't know about that, brother, but I definitely appreciate that super chat. This is a goal that I set for myself more than a year ago. And I have been very, very focused on achieving this goal, right? And I've forsaken a lot of stuff because I wanted to complete this goal. I wanted to make this happen because I'm a Spider-Man guy, right? And to me, Amazing Spider-Man is a fantastic title. And part of it was I had a lot of them, and then I started to look at it. I'm like, well, why not just finish it? And I think there, 400 books, let's just say, is what I had to close the gap on. That's actually a lot of books. It is actually a lot of books, and I didn't fully appreciate it, but I am very pleased to have completed it. So what I thought I would do is I may actually show you guys a couple of the books, maybe 1 through 10, right? Because they're actually sitting here on the desk. So I thought I would show you 1 through 10. And then if you go to my recent Sugar Box video that I did, I actually showed you 1 through 20 something. So I'll probably end up showing you 1 through 10 here in this video, and then maybe some of the 30s, just so you guys can see it. Because a lot of people have been asking me to show all 800 books, and I just think that that's way too much. But what I will try to do is to share a couple of books. So Sean, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. A couple of people asking what happens next. Felix is in the house. I have a note here on my desk, and I'm actually going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. Rob Worst, how you doing, brother? I think Connie's in here somewhere. Eugene is in here. Matt Woods is in the house. So bear with me. I want to show you guys a couple of books, and then I want to try to answer that question of what comes next. So here is my Amazing Spider-Man number 1. I think a couple of these books definitely could use some cleaning, and that is one of them. But here is Amazing Spider-Man number 2. Definitely a really cool book right there. Here is number 3. This is the newly acquired Amazing Spider-Man number 3. And I can tell you the vast majority of my ASMs are actually raw. This is number 4. Drove 2 hours to snag this one. And part of the reason for that is that many of these books were actually found in the wilds. Here's number 5. I think the vast majority of the low numbers especially were all bought at local comic shops here in the Bay Area. And I found that with raw books, and here's number 6. A lot of the old school collectors tend to have their books raw. I found that I can actually get better prices for raw books. Here's number 7. And because, you can have some conversations around the grade, right? And what one person thinks the grade is versus another person. You can have a little bit of negotiation, a little bit of give and take, right? Here is number 8, yellow cover. And you can't necessarily do that with a graded book per se. It's a little bit harder, but if the book is raw, man, you can at least have a conversation, right? This is number 9 right there. Really cool electro book right there. And then here is issue number 10. So that is basically Amazing Spider-Man 1 through 10 right there, volume 1. If you're interested in seeing like 11 through like 29-ish, I believe many of those are actually in my most recent sugar box video. So let me see a couple of comments here. Make sure I don't miss anything. Hillbilly, how you doing, brother? Yes, I made it happen. What is this? Reggie motivated me to complete my run of Amazing Spider-Man. My wife and I talked about it this morning. I have almost all higher than 100 and about a dozen from 1 through 100. It's going to be a 5-year goal, man. I tell you, get after it, brother. Get after it, man, because it is possible. I was telling someone this earlier. I did a Q&A earlier today on Instagram. And, one of the comments that I kind of made to people is that I didn't have a lot of these books. I didn't have a lot of these books at all when I started some of this stuff. I did not have these when I came back into the hobby at the end of 2017 into the beginning of 2018. I did not have these books, and I set goals for myself. Initially, it was like want list stuff that I kind of set for myself, and I tackled those. And then, fast forward several months, and then I decided to do ASM, and now here we are. Set a goal, have a plan, go after it. That's what this is about. Sith Lord, thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate that super chat right there. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of you guys. And I will say this, me achieving this goal is not just about me being completely honest, right? There are people that are in this room right now that have contributed in several ways. Some people have traded me books that are in this room. People have given me super chats where I've taken those funds and gone and bought those books. People have given me books that are in this chat right now. People have alerted me to, hey, so-and-so has this book for sale. You mentioned that you were looking for it. Hey, this person has it. You might want to check it out. People have bought books for me because I needed them. I've given them the money. They've mailed them to me. So there are, and then all the comic shops that I mentioned, including Cape and Cow up in Oakland, who helped me to secure this book. There are a lot of people that have contributed to this. And then even those that did not contribute directly, many of you out there have actually watched this journey, right? You remember when I laid it down, it was like, I'm going to do a full run of Amazing Spider-Man. And then I went after it, so you guys have been here with the journey. You guys have been on the journey. You guys have looked at the hunting videos and the haul videos as I've unboxed 250 Amazing Spider-Man comics at one point. You guys have been here. And so this is a goal that I set, that you guys shared in. And I think it's important to take a moment to kind of acknowledge that, So what I will tell you guys, because a couple of people now are kind of asking that question. Some people were asking it earlier today, but I'm actually going to answer it right now. So what's next? The honest answer is I don't know. That is the honest answer. I want to take a moment to celebrate this win. When I was younger, I used to spend a lot of time setting goals, tackling goals, and then just roll into the next one. What can I do next? What's the next challenge? What's the next thing that I can challenge myself with? What's the next goal? What's the next certificate or degree or whatever it happened to be? The next job, the next promotion, the next project, right? I spent a lot of time thinking about what's next, and I did not spend a lot of time appreciating the things that I had at that moment. And so as I've gotten older and as I've made mistakes, I've started to slow down, and I've started to try to appreciate the things that I have. And so this is this is a major goal. And I want to take some time just to appreciate what I've just accomplished, what you guys have helped me to accomplish before I start to say what's next. I have some ideas. Yes. Who doesn't, right? But I want to celebrate this. I want to take some time to reflect upon my collection and what's really important for my collection and where I want to take things next. before I declare something to be a goal. I think many of you probably remember there were two series that were essentially launched at the same time. One of them was basically the full run of Amazing Spider-Man. And then there was another series. And one of those fell to the wayside because this one was all consuming. Maybe I'll dust that one off. Maybe I'll go into a new direction. Maybe I'll go after Web of Spider-Man. Maybe I'll go after X-Men. Maybe a partial X-Men run. Maybe it's early X-Men, or maybe it is the John Byrne, Chris Claremont X-Men. Who knows? Maybe I go after Invaders. I want to take some time to process and give a little bit of real thought to that. So let me share with you guys. I'll show you guys a couple of other books here elsewhere in the run. Here is issue number 28. This is the first Molten Man. Really cool book right there. Here is issue 29. And again, there are some others I just showed 1 through 10 a few moments ago. Lower than this is actually in the most recent Sugar Box video. So here is issue number 30. Arguably one of the least spectacular early Amazing Spider-Man covers. Here is issue number 31, probably a close second right there. Here is issue number 32. I definitely dig that cover. He is ripping up the concrete and steel girder. Arguably one of my favorite Amazing Spider-Man stories ever. And this is definitely a book that I would want to upgrade. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 33 right there. I've actually done a video just on several panels from this because this is a really, really compelling story. So a couple of cool books there. I'll show you guys a couple more here. All right, show you a couple more here. Here is Amazing Spider-Man number 34 right there. A little browning on that edge, as you can see, but this is what happens when you find them in the wilds. Here is number 35. There are definitely some books here in the run that I will probably upgrade at some point. Here is issue number 36. A lot of people have asked, why they're still raw. Well, there's reasons for that because not every single one of them. Here's issue number 37. This is the first Norman Osborn. Not every single one of these is going to ever get slabs. Here's number 38. But some of them that will be slabs might be upgraded before they are slabs. Here's issue number 40. I love this cover right here. Issue number 40. This is the origin of the Green Goblin. Definitely love that cover right there. Here's issue number 41. This is actually an upgrade from my olds when I had a lower grade book that was really beat up that I actually won as part of an auction and decided to upgrade it when this one came along. I think someone actually alerted me to that one on Instagram and I ended up buying it. Here's issue number 42. So I just wanted to show you guys a couple of additional books here that are part of the run. And again, you can actually head over to check out the Sugar Box video if there's some other ones that you actually want to see. Matthew saying I need 40 and 41, and then he has all of the 40s. Very nice. I think you also have all of the 60s as well, right? And maybe the 50s. Here's a question here. Is there a certain grade that you won't buy lower than or due to? Yeah, so I actually did a couple of videos on low grade versus no grade. And if people are curious about those, I definitely encourage you guys to check those out. If you search for like Regie Collects low grade, no grade or something like that. So in my head, I don't mind low grade comics, right? For me, it's not necessarily about the grade versus the condition. Now, here's what I mean by that. You can have a 3 that looks presentable, or you can have a 3 that is a dog, right? And there are both 3s. And that's because the defects that can impact a 3 can range. And I'm giving a gross example here, right? So what I try to do is there's a couple of criteria that I have for my collection in books. I don't do rust. I don't do incomplete books. Those are two big things for me. No rust and no incomplete books. From there, if you really say that is your watermark, if you will, and I also don't do water stains, comics with water stains, no rusty staples, no missing pages, no cutout coupons, that kind of stuff. So that gives me a starting point, right? And so I could go for a 1 or a 2 or 3 as long as it's complete, doesn't have water stains, doesn't have rust on the staples, et cetera, right? So I think it's not necessarily about the grade so much as it is the condition at that particular grade. And there, generally speaking, I would say My ASM 1 is probably my lowest grade in the entire run. And you probably understand why, because it's also probably the most expensive one. A lot of them in the early sub 100s, my average might be around maybe a 4.5, maybe a 4.5 to 5. I think those my lower numbers are actually not in bad shape. And then as you go up to the newer books, the grades get even higher, to the point where if you're in the 70s, I have some books in the 8s and the 9s. It just depends. It just depends on what I'm able to find and what's, particular about that particular book, right? So hopefully that kind of answers the question just a little bit. So Matthew is given a little bit of context here. He says he doesn't have 62, 63. He doesn't have 50, 51, 53, 54, 57. That's not bad, but you're still making a ton of progress. This guy's like, 16 years old with some fantastic, amazing Spider-Man books, right? I mean, he'll probably finish his run before he even turns 20, which is just depressing. No, probably more like 25, but just depressing. But good luck to you, brother. How long do you think it would take to read that entire run? So what I actually did when I embarked upon this journey to actually complete the run of Amazing Spider-Man, I literally started reading the issues from issue number 1. I started reading issue number 1, sometimes digitally, sometimes in the hard copy that I would purchase. And so I've probably read, a healthy number of the early stuff, certainly past 100. I've certainly read past 100, and then maybe sporadically throughout, depending upon whether I picked that book up, whether that book had some significance. There are some books that aren't wildly significant that I've probably skipped over. But like, your 129s, right? Your first appearance of Punisher. So you kind of read the one before that one, and then the one after, so you kind of read around. I honestly don't know if I sat down and tried to literally read it book by book by book. Who knows? That is a challenge that I don't know if I'm ready to take on. I don't know if I'm ready to take on. The question is, how does the book present itself? That is indeed the question, Johnny Future, because again, you could have a 2 that looks incredibly nice, right? Maybe it's the back cover that doesn't look so good, but the front cover looks pretty good. Maybe it's a little crumpled, right? But a press actually gets that book up from a 2 to something else, and again, that's why part of the reason why I deal in the raw books, because there's some room for negotiation. I can look at the book, I can grade the book visually, and I can also, because I press books, I can kind of eyeball it to see what's a pressable defect and what's not. And so if I know how to grade, if I know what's a pressable defect and what's not, and I can look at the price and the pricing guide, then I can kind of sort of figure out what I can do with that book. And so those are, I think skills that are super helpful that I would tell people. If you don't know how to grade, try to figure it out. If you haven't pressed, at least know what a pressable defect is and isn't. That way you can kind of look at a book and kind of know, is this book a little bit off, or can I bump it up if I were to get it pressed? So you want to put these skills together, right? These are all really great skills for us as comic book collectors to actually possess, at least in my opinion. Scrolling down, scrolling down through some of the comments. Here's a little bit of conversation about Booster Gold. Hey, Seth, thank you, brother, for stopping by. I definitely appreciate it. Again, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Scrolling down through the comments here, I would love, I'm gonna be honest with you, there was somebody that put up a post the other day on Instagram, and I kind of shared it back out. There was someone that had like, it might have been like amazing, I can't remember. It was like maybe Amazing Spider-Man 141 through 400, all at 9.8s. I would love that, but that's not in the cards for me, And so, part of what I may do at some point is, as I mentioned, there are some books within this run that I may actually choose to upgrade. So we will see. What happens with that. There are some that may be upgraded and then clean, pressed, and then graded. There are some that are probably just going to go to grade at some point. But as you guys know, a couple of things I will say, that getting a book slabbed is not the only way to press a book or preserve a book, because I've people ask that question as well. Like, why aren't they slabbed so that you can preserve and protect them? The truth of the matter is that slabbing isn't the only means to actually protect your comic. There's a couple of other ways that you can do it besides that. And then the other part is that pressing books, because I do them myself, is extremely time consuming. And then the third part is getting books graded is expensive, right? And so These are part of the reasons why these books are still in raw format. Well, collectively, right? I may upgrade them. Pressing is time consuming. Grading is expensive. I may blah blah blah. Right. So there you go. Am I speculating any books for Doctor Strange 2? No, I am not. So I mean, I have, what is it? The origin of Doctor Strange. I have a couple of Doctor Strange books that have some significance and ties to the cosmic stuff. But no, I'm not speculating on Doctor Strange. Again, you know, my focus has been really geared towards a lot of this stuff that I'm showing you guys right now. So my family seems to be able to seems to be in this this zone of just being forever sick. What is this? Boondock says, I subscribe because I'm attempting a full run of Amazing Spider-Man myself. It is a fantastic journey to be on. I'm not sure if you're looking for 1 through 441, if you're doing the entire thing. A lot of people go for the 1 through 441. Some people do 1 through, 801. And then others are like me. I basically have it all, right? So I have, 1 through 801, and then everything that is new that is out, I have those. And then I also have the annuals as well. So there's actually a video up on the channel right now talking about all the annuals. If you ever want to see those are actually posted up. Chris Bigger, congrats on that Venom 3, brother. That's definitely a cool book. How much is it to slab a book? It is not an easy question to answer, right? And I say that because it depends on the age of the book. It depends upon the speed in which you want the book to be graded. It depends upon the services that you select. It depends upon the value of the book, right? So it's not an easy question to answer. But if you go to cgccomics.com, you can actually find some of that information. I genuinely tell people it's about $35 to do it. But in addition to what I just mentioned to you, depending upon the membership level that you get, there's also discounts that are associated with getting comics graded. And then there's also credits that you can get when you sign up for certain memberships. You get credits, you get discounts. And so it's hard to say. But if you wanted a number, right? If I wanted to throw a number out there, it would be $35. So hopefully that helps. What is this? Reggie, are you going to get all the first appearances graded? I think I'm a little behind on the chat here, possibly. But the answer is I don't know, right? The answer is I don't know for the points that I just kind of mentioned a few moments ago. There are some books that are in this run that I would like to upgrade. And so I don't know if I want to spend the money, the time, the effort to get the books graded. Only to turn back around and buy a better book or a better version of it, right? Why put the money in if you can use that money, use that book with a couple of extra bucks to get the next book, right? And if it's raw, then I have a little bit of room to kind of negotiate. Maybe I press it myself, get it looking a little bit better for the next person that ends up buying it, and then I take that money, add a couple of bucks to it, and buy an even better book. So and the challenge, honestly, with Amazing Spider-Man, especially when you're talking the low numbers, so many of those books are first appearances. So it's almost like you have to slab everything, right? Because all of them are important. All of them have something significant. And that's what really, really makes it challenging. So scrolling down through the comments here. It's so hard to get ASM1. It's like it's expanding universe. The moment I've saved up. You know what? I'm going to tell you, man, that is legit. That is a legit point right here. ASM, man, it's just, I'm also one of those people that when I get the book, I stop looking at the price. But I can go to a con, and I don't go to cons all that often, but I can go to a con and I can find several copies of Amazing Fantasy in the room and like no copies of Amazing Spider-Man #1. I don't know why that is. It is an interesting phenomenon, right? Where there are a lot of AF-15s, not a lot of Amazing Spider-Man 1, at least in my experience. But Amazing Spider-Man #1 is one of those books that it's a tough book, and when I bought my issue #1, I felt like it was the most money in the world, right? I felt that way. Almost every time you buy one of these expensive #1s, it feels like it's the most most expensive book ever, and it is until the next one. But Mark, high voltage Mark, good luck to you, brother. And I have my fingers crossed that you're going to be able to get Amazing Spider-Man #1, in a timely manner. So I wish you luck for certain. Would I use CGC's pressing service or find someone that can do it for you if you don't press books yourself? It's an excellent question. So I do press my own books. It's a skill that I reluctantly learned when CGC changed some of its pricing structure, where it got to the point that getting books cleaned and pressed by CGC was almost as expensive as getting the books graded. So I learned to press. And I do not regret it, because it's another aspect of the hobby that I actually enjoy. But my experience with using a third-party grader was not a positive one. I had a presser that came highly recommended. He actually damaged my books. He pushed the staple through the cover of a book, and it was a cheap book, but it didn't matter. But even that, outbound, as the books left my hands to go to this presser, the United States Postal Service jacked the books up. The presser was unable to correct the defects that were caused by the United States Postal Service. And then he actually pressed the book too tight and ended up damaging the books even more. And there were 4 or 5 of them that I had pressed, and those books were basically just messed up, But what I will say is, I think that there are a lot of respectable, dependable, honest third-party pressers out there. I don't have any recommendations for you, but I'm confident that there are people here in this room that can probably give you some direction. I'm confident that if you're on Instagram, you will see people advertising their services. There are people that are posting up, here was the old label, here's the new label. There are a lot of really great pressers and cleaners that are out there. I wish you luck finding one. I wish that I could give you one, but I unfortunately do not have a recommendation. But hopefully, like I said, someone else does. River City, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Would you pay or trade from your collection for an AF-15? So, yes. The answer is yes, I would. I have books that are in my collection that have been purchased, that have been cleaned, pressed, graded. Some of them are still raw for a couple of different reasons, that are really earmarked, if you will, for the purpose of selling those books for AF-15. And so my AF-15 purchase, whenever it happens, will probably be a combination of cash and books that I have sold to get cash to be able to buy AF-15. The books that I will sell, and this is where I have chosen to draw the line for me and my collection. The books that I will sell are not books that I am emotionally attached to. First. Second, the books that I will sell are probably books that I also have doubles of. So either I am not emotionally attached to them, or they are doubles. And so for that purpose, I will be okay with selling those books to be able to use those funds to buy AF-15. And so that is part of my AF-15 strategy right there. So very good question. Very good question. Scrolling down through the comments here. Oh man, I feel like I lost it right there. I lost the comment. Let me see. I am way behind in the comments, so you guys have to apologize. So will the grade of your comic go down if you use the digital code? No, it will not. It will not. The book will actually still be graded if you take that digital code out. Now, if you get the book if you get the book graded, there will be a notation that is made on the label that the digital code is actually missing. Or if you've peeled it off so you can get the code and you kind of push it back, if they can see that defect, air quote defect, they will make note of that on the label as well. But it should not affect the grade. Should not affect the grade. It may affect the desirability, because there could be some people out there again that are like, no, I want my book 100% complete, and that includes the coupon code, right? So if you've taken it off, it will not affect the grade. It will be noted on the label. But second, it could affect the desirability of that book by certain collectors. And so you have to be aware of that. Now, who will? I don't know. I don't know who those people are. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Let me see, make sure, because I lost a whole lot of comments here. Uncanny X-Men is the same way. If you want decent grades for keys, it's a bit expensive. Scrolling down through the comments here. Jerry G, seen that question come up before. Yeah. Somebody attempting to answer the question here. So thank you for that. I definitely appreciate it. Scrolling down through the comments here, making sure that I don't miss anything. How long does it take to get your book back? Depends on when you send the book in. It depends on when you send the book in, whether it's at peak con time, like this right now is not a bad time to send your books in, but cons are about to start ramping up. And when that happens, some of the staff that is at CGC goes out into the field. So that reduces their productivity just a little bit, is my feeling. So that's like part of it. I think it depends on the services that you select. So you have an ability to fast track your book, which actually speeds up the grading process, right? And it basically cuts it in half for a couple of extra bucks. And then there's also the time depends upon the age of the book. And so I can't give you a straight answer, so I apologize for that. It could take anywhere from like a month, because I've gotten modern books back in under a month where I did not have them cleaned or pressed. I just had them graded, to having books cleaned, pressed, graded that were Silver Age books that took 6 months, right? So it depends. It depends. And again, my recommendation, if you're really curious, if you go to cgccomics.com, they have a page that actually tells you the turnaround times right now. How accurate they are, I don't know, but that resource is there for you. My best recommendation that I can give you, if you send books in, and it does not matter whether it's CGC or CBCS, send it and forget it. Send it and forget it. It is a hard thing to do, but trust me when I tell you, you just want to let it go and be surprised when you get that alert that your books are through the process. So what is this right here? Will Spencer says the current Amazing Spider-Man is not very good. Correct. Sadly, I'm about to drop it. I gave Nick Spencer enough time to right the ship. It is not a good run. It is not good at all. The artwork from Ryan Ottley, I am enjoying his artwork. I am not enjoying Nick Spencer's writing. I think the series is incredibly boring. I'm going to just be completely honest. Incredibly boring. I think Siri must have thought that I was talking to her when I said incredibly boring. Scrolling down, which grading company do I like best? Look around here, my friend. Look around. I did a tremendous amount of research when I first, decided to get books graded, and I decided that I was going to go with CGC. I like CGC. Are they the best? No. Are they the worst? No. Do I like the work that they do? Yes. Is CBCS good? Yes. Is Halo good? Yes. PGX, never used them. And there's also EGS that is out there, which I also have used before. I think the best recommendation that I can give you there with deciding who to go with, watch a bunch of the videos on YouTube. There are a lot of people that compare and contrast the different cases and all this other kind of stuff and accoutrement associated with. And, what I ended up doing is I ended up doing a pro-con list, and I wrote out a pro-con list and decided that CGC was all right by me. And I have not regretted that decision. Again, they're not perfect, but nothing is perfect, right? So scrolling down, what does it say? There's more of a feeling of accomplishment when you press your own books and it comes back at a 9 point. Well said, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. There is a sense of accomplishment when you take a book that has been loved, and you put some time into that book, and you take that book out of the press and you see it, and you get it in the light, and you look across that book and you see just how glossy that cover is, how flat, how perfect. That is a sense of accomplishment. That is bringing a comic, a piece of history back to life. And it is a fantastic, fantastic feeling. If it comes back at a 9.8, mo better. Let me scroll down through these comments here. All right. Best thing about CBCS is that they now have a Canadian office. Well said about that one. What is this? If you're looking to preserve and not resell, EGS is the best value. Scrolling now, what's the most accurate site to price your books? It depends, right? It depends on, are you selling? Are you buying, right? Because everyone has their opinion. Jerry G, I use Go Collect. I use Go Collect for pricing my slabs. And then I use comicspriceguide.com for pricing my raw books. Comicspriceguide.com can actually do both graded and raw, but I prefer and have used for the last couple of years Go Collect. They are a sponsor of the channel, and there's a reason, because I was using them and was like, hey, you guys want to work together? Versus it being the other way around. Go Collect is my preferred. And then, like I said, for raw books, because Go Collect does not have pricing for raw books, I prefer comicspriceguide.com. And for me, one of the important things here is that a lot of people will say, well, you know, when I looked over here, the price was here. When I looked in this pricing guide, the price was here. When I looked in this one, the price was this. The problem is you cannot compare pricing guides that way. And the reason that you can't, and there's lots of reasons why, the different pricing services are using different reference points. So a lot of them pull in eBay pricing, right? But then they also pull in Heritage and Comic Link. They pull in maybe Dig auctions. Maybe they pull in some private dealers, private sellers. So they're all using different data points for how they price their books. They also pull that data at different times. Not everyone pulls all the data at the same time and scrubs it at the same rate and gets it published to their site. And so if you have one pricing service that does it daily and one that does it weekly and one that does it on a 3-month rolling average, there's no way you can compare those prices, because they're all going to be different, because how they aggregate that data is going to be different. The best piece of advice I can give here: find a pricing service that you can get on board with and then stick with it. That is the best piece of advice. Slabtopia is indeed the word. Slabtopia. So I realize that we are down the pipe here. What I want to do is to give you guys a heads up on some of the content that is going to be coming out from the channel. We will then give away the Go Collect book for this week, and it is this dopeness right here, right? And then what we'll do is maybe get back to the chat. We'll get back to the chat and the questions that you guys have. So if you can hold those questions for me, because I like the questions. And so I definitely want to encourage you guys, after we do a couple of things, throw your questions up in all caps and we will dig into them. So let me give you guys a heads up on what is going to be coming out from the channel this week. I think that there's a healthy amount of really good stuff that is going to be coming out. So I did a vlog, and I feel like it might be a controversial vlog that is going to be dropping, or recording, or video, podcast, whatever you want to call it. Comics are too expensive. I feel like it's going to be a controversial one. Comics are too expensive. There are going to be some people that are going to feel one way about that, and there are going to be some people that feel another way about that. And I think that it's going to be a robust conversation about comics being too expensive. So that video will drop this week. I'm actually doing a product review video this week. I came across a really cool product that I really enjoyed, and well, I thought that I would enjoy it from the way that it looked online and on Instagram. I got my hands on it, and I'm doing a review of that. So I want to definitely encourage you guys to check that out, because I think it's a cool product. I went to the Berkeley Comic Show last weekend, Berkeley Comic Show. So I actually shot some footage there. That's actually where I first spotted my new girlfriend, Amazing Spider-Man number 3, 4.0. So Berkeley Comic Show recap. So check that out. I'm dropping a new video. Back in the day, I did this one series called Digging in My Shorts. Digging in My Shorts was the name of the series. I've decided to bring Digging in My Shorts back again. And this time we're going to do it just a little bit different. I'm going to be showing you some really cool grails, keys from DC, Marvel, Golden Age, Bronze, Silver, Modern Age, Copper Age. If there is an age, I probably have a book in here for you. If you are in DC, Marvel, Valiant, maybe even some Image, there is a book or two in this video for you. It is a cool video. At least I think it is a little bit different from something that I've done before, but I have a feeling that you guys are going to enjoy it. So I definitely want to encourage you to stay tuned for that video. And this is probably the big one. This is probably the big one that you guys have been waiting on. We are going to announce the winners of the comic book room makeover. It took me some time to tabulate the results. The contest basically just wrapped up on Friday. It took me a little bit of time to kind of scrub some of the data, clean it up. But we are going to announce the winners of the comic book room makeover. I am actually in that video going to be telling you the prizes. I'm going to tell you the prizes that will be awarded to the winners, and then we'll announce the winner. Stay tuned for that video, because I think you're going to like that one. And then there's actually some really really cool bonus footage in this video as well. So don't miss that one. Quick announcement. There will be no Go Collect giveaway for next week. There will be no Go Collect giveaway for next week. But hopefully you guys still watch the videos. I mean, that's my hope, that you still watch the videos, even though there won't be a giveaway next week. The week after, we will get back on track and we will definitely have a giveaway. And there will also be one podcast that I'm going to release probably on Monday. Probably on Monday, I'm going to release a podcast at 7 a.m. Pacific time on Monday. The videos that I just mentioned, the 5 videos, they are all going to be coming out at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time as always. There you go. So let's give away a cool book. So this is the book that we're going to be giving away. This is Peanuts #1. There were a lot of people that entered this giveaway that inadvertently keyed in the wrong phrase. And unfortunately for being fair, I was unable to accept those entries. The phrase was all nuts, not all nuts or some other combination of the word nuts. It was all nuts and AWW. I actually put it on screen to kind of help people to avoid confusion. But this is the book that we're going to end up giving away. This is a book that was sponsored by Go Collect. This is Peanuts #1 5.0. Shockingly with white pages from 1963. So if you are the winner, you will get that book sent out to you. You will get a Go Collect t-shirt, and you will also get an exclusive variant comic from Go Collect. So if you win, you send me an email to Regie@RegieCollects.com with your name, your screen name, your mailing address, your preference for a shirt, and it's either light gray, dark gray, or extra large or large. The shirts only come in 2 sizes and 2 colors. So gray, dark gray, and then large and extra large. That's it. So when you send me your email to Regie@RegieCollects.com, make sure you key in all of that information. All right. So like I said, we will get back to the chat in just a couple of moments. So get ready with your questions. If you have them, throw them up in all caps so that I can actually see them. So we're going to first look at the list of individuals that were able to successfully enter this week's giveaway. And again, the phrase was all nuts in honor of the Peanuts. Peanuts #1. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me pop over and make sure you guys can actually see that. Make this a little larger so you can see. So I'm scrolling through the list. These are all the individuals that were able to successfully enter this week's giveaway. And again, congrats to everyone that watched the videos and that were able to successfully enter. If you have any questions about how to enter the giveaway, you can always watch the Ready, Set, Go preview show because I give you details on how to do it. But you can also search for Regie Collects Go Collect giveaway on YouTube, and it will give you a video that actually walks you through the steps of how to actually do it. All right. So need to stop sharing that one so that I can share my dice rolling screen. So we're going to go ahead and roll the dice here and see whether we can give away a really cool book. So 7 is the magic number. So I'm going to stop sharing again and flip back to this other one, and we are going to randomize this list a total of 7 times and give away a cool book. So that is 1 right there. Scrolling down, 221 names. This is 2. Scrolling down, here is 3. Here is 4. 5. This is 6 right here. And the winner of this week's Go Collect giveaway of Peanuts #1 5.0 white pages is Mark Tripp. Mark Tripp, you, sir, are the winner. Congratulations. Mark Tripp is in first place. Chris Bigger in second place. L. Smith and Marvel Man, the Greek in fourth place, and Greek Freak #5. All right, so there you go. Congrats, Mark Tripp. Make sure you send me an email to Regie@RegieCollects.com. Please give me your name, your screen name, your government name, your mailing address, your preference for shirt color, your preference for shirt size. I will get this bundled up and mailed out to you, priority mail, just as soon as I can. Congratulations, Mark. All right. So like I said, I wanted to revisit if there were any questions, and I just lost my chat. Wouldn't you know it that I lost my chat? So let me see if I can pop this thing open. I have to go over to YouTube real quick and try to see if I can tap in that way. If you guys have any questions for me, don't be shy about putting them up in all caps. We were having, I think, a robust conversation about a few things. So let's talk about it. If you guys have questions, sorry, a couple of sighs in here. Definitely a cool book, but here's the thing: knowing that people like that kind of book because that was a little bit of shot on goal. Knowing that was a little bit of shot on goal. I've never done something like that before. Who knows? You might see something similar again, right? So a couple of people here are saying congrats. Let me know if you guys have questions, issues, comments, thoughts about anything, and we'll definitely kind of dig into it. For those that didn't get a chance, definitely check out the Instagram. There was probably 2 or 3 dozen questions that people asked me on Instagram that I kind of did as a Q&A. So let me see. There's a question here. Did I check out Harley Quinn cartoon yet? No, I have not. The weekends are a little tough for me, to be honest with you. Weekends are a little tough just because of the kids suck up a lot of time. I had to go get this book this weekend. So that took up some time. And so, no, I have not watched it. And with the week that I have coming ahead, I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to watch it. So, but I'm hearing really good things about it. So maybe I'll check it out. This is Almighty Liker King that's actually asking the question right there. So what is this? What are 3 key comics we should acquire now before they are about to get out of reach? Peter's asking this question. That's a tough question to answer, right? Because what is out of reach is different from person to person, right? One person's out of reach is within reach for another person, right? That's a really, really tough question for me to answer, right? What I will say is that there are a couple of videos on the channel that I talk about undervalued keys. There is a playlist that is on the community tab right now where I talk about cosmic keys. There is a playlist on the channel where I talk about, or video that I talk about water related keys. These are all great videos, I think, that will give you some insight into where my thinking is with various comic books, right? So my cosmic series, I did that 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, in which I went after some important cosmic related books, some Adam Warlock stuff, some Thanos stuff, some first appearances of like the In-Betweener and the Beyonder and Korvac, the Gardener, the first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet, and some of the early appearances of the Infinity Stones, Infinity, Eternity, right? You name it, right? There are a lot of really great cosmic related keys that I think are undervalued or will go up in value as a result of what potentially will happen with the MCU. I also have a feeling that the MCU at some point will go in the direction of water, that being Namor. And this again was a series that I started probably 2 years ago, playlist or a video, I should say. It is on the channel. If you search for Regie Collects Water, you should be able to find it. But in these types of videos, I give you clues as to the books that I think could potentially go up in value. Now, with that said, I don't think that depending upon your financial situation, books like AF-15, Amazing Spider-Man #1, FF #1, X-Men #1, Giant Size X-Men #1, Hulk 181, Hulk 180, right? These are the easy books to pick up. But for some people, those books are already out of reach, you know? Fantastic question. The challenge is it's a little tough to answer that with a blanket 1, 2, 3. But hopefully there was something in that answer that I gave you that you guys can actually use. So scrolling down through some of the comments here. Have I read about the Ramita and Ramita Jr. private signing? I haven't. I know that that Sharon at Desert Wind actually does a lot with Ramita. She actually got my book, my Amazing Spider-Man 50, signed by Ramita. So that could be where this private signing is taking place. And if so, Sharon is awesome. She actually was able to get 2 of my books signed for me, my Amazing Spider-Man 300 by Todd McFarlane and the writer. And then she also was able to get Amazing Spider-Man 50 signed by John Romita Sr. And so maybe that's where that's taking place. But these signings, man, are happening everywhere. Just today, Donnie Cates, or yesterday and today, Donnie Cates and Jim Lee were together doing a signing down at Torpedo. My man RB3 was actually right there at the front of the line getting his stuff signed. So Scrolling down through the comments here, Tina was like, lots of opinions about what to buy. Squirrel Man is talking about me putting my boy to work. I did not circumvent any child labor laws. I'm from Detroit and we don't believe in child labor laws or no, I was about to say child abuse laws, but we do believe in that. Yeah, I put my boy to work, man. I put my boy to work. You know, I like to take the kid out whenever I get a chance. We went and got his mom's car washed, gassed it up. So he gassed it up. And after the car wash, there was still some wetness on the car. So he was able to wipe the car down and shared that video with his mother and also shared it on Instagram. So we like to have fun, man. We like to have fun. So then we also went to soccer later on. So it's been a very, very long day for us. Let me scroll down through some of the comments here. Again, if you guys have questions, throw it up in all caps. Chris Bigger asking about Thor 1. Thor 1 was dope. Thor 1 was incredibly well written. The intro scene as the hammer went through the 10 realms was just fantastic. The tone of it was perfect. I think that the two really great surprises towards the middle and the end of the book were fantastic. I've tried not to like give it away because I think our people are still playing catch up on Thor 1, but Thor 1 was dope. It was a dope book. Scrolling down, what is this? Eugene talking about X-Men 4. There's a lot of people that are not digging the X-Men right now, but I'm telling you, X-Men 4 with that Magneto scene, if you guys have not watched my video on that, I definitely want to encourage you to check that out, because if you like a bad guy, you want to check this out, because he's like, it's incredible. It's an incredible series of pages where Magneto just puts the smack down on humanity. So if you haven't checked that out, I definitely want to encourage you guys to check that one out. Scrolling down through some of the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. Almighty Liger King says X-Men 4 was beautiful. Yes, indeed it was. So yeah, a couple of people talking about Master Blaster, talking about Hulk 180. I actually have 2 copies of Hulk 180, 2 copies of Hulk 181. Those are both, I think, really, really good books. So those might be, one copy of those might be a book that gets forfeited. You never know. You never know how that's going to go. Rob Worst putting out some 3 books that he feels could actually get out of reach. Maybe that's what those 3 books were that he just posted up. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Scrolling down. So if you guys have questions, comments, definitely throw them up in all caps. It definitely helps me. Peter's asking, what's the fair price for a mid-grade CGC X-Men 4? I'm guessing you're talking first series. The best recommendation, bro, that I can give you for that one, because it's hard for me to do that on the fly, right, is if you head over to my website, RegieCollects.com, you go to the partners page. On the partners page, there is our codes. There are codes for my partners and links. Go Collect is actually giving away 30 days free membership for people that want to try out Go Collect. You go there, you click the link, you use the code, which I think is Regie Collects. You go to their website, you plug all that information in, you get access to the website. The reason I say that is because you're able to check the price for a graded book, right? Able to check the price, then you can actually answer that question around what is a fair price for a mid-grade book. Because, mid-grade is actually a nice little range there, right? And so you definitely want to check your prices using a pricing guide to determine that. So what do I have? I might have a 110 just kind of floating around. Somebody actually gave me this. A dealer actually gave me that at the Berkeley Comic-Con. Shout out Bunky Brothers. Bunky Brothers on Instagram hooked me up with Amazing Spider-Man 110. And then I just bought 2 more. Shout out Backseat Driver just hooked me up. Scrolling down through some of the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. It looks like you guys are exchanging a couple of books that you think are dope books that might get out of reach. I think that is fantastic. Yeah, Desert Wind. You definitely know exactly what I'm talking about. I lost the chat here. And again, you guys have to bear with me because I have to bounce back and forth between a couple of different screens here. So I may miss things. Looks like somebody got their book signed yesterday by Jim Lee and Donnie Cates. That's definitely dope. Were you there for the fingernail painting when Donnie Cates painted Jim Lee's fingernail silver? Scrolling down through the comments here. I definitely agree with some of the comments here being made about some of the books, right? So Submariner #1, definitely agree with that one. I think that is a super dope book. I have 2 copies of that one. I think you should definitely get that one. Rob Worst making comments here about the dinner scene. I did a whole video on that one, brother. It was a It was an incredible scene, in my opinion. Incredible scene. Parasitic, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you, my friend. Scrolling through the comments here, scrolling down through the comments, scrolling. I have a new X-Men Venom Island variant that was stapled wrong. Is that an error worth grading? No. It is not. It is not worth grading a messed up staple. I would not even worry about it, to be honest with you. Hey Reggie, do you use Go Collect to lower prices at con? Who raises prices on all books? So here's the thing. Whenever my experience when I go to cons, I've actually found that the prices are actually better, right? I've actually found that the prices are better sometimes at the cons that I actually go to. And I use Go Collect wherever I am. I either use Go Collect or I use comicspriceguide.com for raw books. I literally look at the book, I take it, I have them take it out, or I take it out of the plastic. I look at the book, I mentally am grading the book, and then I pull out my cell phone. I go to one of the pricing guides and I look up the price. I look up the price based upon the grade. I look at the price that's on the book, and then we have a conversation. That is basically how I negotiate. I don't hide any of that stuff. I put that stuff right out there, and I try to have a meaningful conversation with folks around, what I'm seeing in terms of that book. And what the grade might be. It's a little bit harder if the book is already graded, but even still, I think that you can have a good conversation, because the question becomes, when did they grade that book, right? When did they grade that book? They may have graded that book a month ago and haven't revised the price that's on that book just because they haven't had time, because the price can fluctuate within that month, right? They may be using GPA analysis to price their book instead of Go Collect. So it's like one of the first questions I kind of ask is, what was the thought behind the price? Let's have a discussion. Let's figure it out. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Every vendor, says Scrollman, at a show I was at today had ASM 109, 111, and one, but not 110. Yeah, so I was enticed to come to the Berkeley Comic Con by Bunky Brothers, who is a dealer that is awesome in the Bay Area. They actually put up a post on their Instagram page and was like, Reggie, if you come to the Berkeley Comic Con, this book is yours. And so I showed up and they were like, yeah, somebody was actually here already and took the book, and they were just joking. But they ended up giving it to me. It's definitely a low grade book, but still it is a pretty cool gesture by a dealer that I've kind of gotten to know that decided to hook me up. And then my man Backseat Driver actually reached out to me, and he spotted a couple of Amazing Spider-Man 110s. And he was like, are you interested in one of them? And I was like, bro, I'm interested in both of them. So I ended up buying both, and he mailed them out to me, I think today. Zoko, how you doing, my friend? It is good to see you. There was a comment here. What is the next artist you are going to make a video about? Ross and Del Otto were good ones. Thank you, Jeffrey. I definitely appreciated that. Jeffrey thought the chat was going to go downhill, and this chat is anything but robust. I don't know. I don't know what artist I'm going to do next, to be honest with you. There was a lot of recommendations from people. There was a Jim Lee recommendation. There was a Matina recommendation. Trying to go by memory. There were a lot of people that were throwing out different names. The truth of the matter is that I have these moments of inspiration where I'm looking in my bins and I see a book and I'm like, I wonder how many of these that I have or of this particular artist that I have. And then I start to research, what are their covers? What are their popular covers? Do I have those books? And then I kind of dig in the boxes. And as I pull books out, I look at them. I'm like, okay, well, that's a video, so I don't know who I'm going to do next. I don't know. I need to give some thought to it. The Alex Ross video was well received. That was a highly watched video. The Gabriel Del Otto video, I don't know if it was as well received. It could have been the day of the week. It could have been the title. It could have been the graphic that I used. I don't know. It wasn't as well received, but I think that the series is one that people seem to enjoy. So I'm probably going to continue it. Who the next artist is, stay tuned for the video. Scrolling down, what's the best website to buy comics besides eBay? So if you search on my page, if you search for Reggie Collects resources, there is a video that I've put together in which I actually highlight several different resources, several different websites to actually buy books. If you search for Reggie Collects Secrets, there is a video in which I actually show you different websites, different apps where you can actually find comics. I don't have all of the stuff committed to memory. That's why I'm kind of referencing the videos. But what I do is I try to create these videos so that they can be resources for you guys moving forward. So if you search for Reggie Collects on YouTube, Reggie Collects something like Reggie Collects Secrets, Reggie Collects Tips, you will find videos that will actually help you. Off the top of my head, besides eBay, I would say My Comic Shop is a great resource to go to. I definitely dig that one. And I'm hard pressed to come up with another one off the top of my head. Hard pressed to come up with another one right off the top of my head, brother. So I would definitely encourage you to check out those videos. If you're unable to find the videos, hit me up on Instagram and I will hit you back immediately with either a link to those videos or I will actually look up some of the websites and will give them to you. So I read Basket Full of Heads. I didn't enjoy it. I read issue number 1. I did not enjoy Basket Full of Heads. I have not read any of the others. Maybe I'll take a look at it digitally, but I did not enjoy that first issue, to be honest with you. Scrolling back. Scrolling back through the name comments here. I need to get ASM 110 to join the Gibbon Gang. I see you, Almighty Liger King. Come on, brother. Get that 110. Scrolling down through the comments here. Scrolling, see what else you guys are talking about. Matt Wood says he was looking for an extra ASM 110 today. LCS had 109 and 111, but not one. What's up with that, man? People are hoarding 110s. Is that what's going on? Scrolling down through the comments here. For those that don't know, Amazing Spider-Man 110 is the first appearance of the Gibbon, and we do something here on the channel called #Gibbon Gang. Hashtag Gibbon Gang. The Gibbon is just it's an organic viral thing that happens here on the channel, and anybody that actually gets a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 110 is automatically inducted into the Gibbon Gang. Definitely a cool thing. And it's honestly just us having some fun. So scrolling down, here is this. Almighty Liger King says Basket Full of Heads is good to me. Just read issue number 4. Very good. And again, last issue I read was 1. I read 1 and stopped reading. That was it. So maybe it's a cool book, man. Maybe I need to revisit it and check it out. So scrolling down through the comments here. All right. What is this? Chris Biggers like Gibbon Gang for life. Oh man, I see you, Parasitic. He says it's going to be at Cal Comic Con tomorrow, and we'll be looking for some Gibbons. That's what's up. All right, so I think I'm going to wrap this thing up. What did I want to tell you guys? I felt like there was something else I was going to tell you. Maybe not. Sometimes my memory, sometimes things escape me in the excitement of doing one of these live streams. If it comes back to me, I'll post it up on the community tab or put it up on Instagram. So again, this was the big news of the day right here. Johnny Future was like, this chat has been robust. So here is the big news of the day. It is this book right here. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 3. Having this book in my possession means that I have officially wrapped up the entire run of Amazing Spider-Man. That is basically every single Amazing Spider-Man from issue number 1 all the way up to the present day, including the annuals. I own all of those books, and this was a journey that I set out upon, that you guys were a part of. You guys helped me with it, and it is now wrapped up. What is our next journey? I don't know. We'll see. Just as a heads up, I'm going to be releasing a podcast tomorrow morning. Monday morning. I'm thinking it's Sunday. Monday morning at 7 a.m. That video or that podcast will be coming out. There's a couple of really cool videos that are going to be coming out this week. The most notable, I think, is that we are actually going to be talking about the comic book room makeover and I'm actually going to be telling you guys about the prizes, talking about the sponsors. We are going to be announcing the winners in that video, and then we're also going to have some bonus footage. So that's going to be a really cool video. I have a vlog that is going to be coming out talking about how comics are too expensive, and I think that that could be a very interesting kind of commentary. I'm looking forward to hearing people's thoughts that on that video, because that's going to be interesting. I'm doing a product review at some point this week, doing a recap of the Berkeley Comic Show, which is a really good local comic show to me that I've gone to probably for the last like 2 years now. They have it a couple of times a year, and I've gone for the last couple of years. Really good, intimate show. Had an opportunity to meet a lot of Bay Area collectors, which is really cool. And then I'm also going to be releasing a video in which I'm actually going to be showing you some really cool DC, Marvel, Image, Valiant, grails, and keys from the golden age all the way through the modern age. And its format is very different. Its format, the format of it, the production quality, I think is going to be high, but the format is a little different. But I think you guys will enjoy it. All right, so there you go. If you guys need to reach out to me, feel free to give me a ring on Instagram at RegieCollects, or you can send me an email to Regie@RegieCollects.com. No matter how you try to go about finding me, it is not too hard to find me because I am always around. Take care.